Hello, and welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to talk a little bit more about owning your suite. I don't think that I have a video right now about suite ownership for massage therapists. As some of you guys know, some of you have been here for quite some time and you knew about all my old massage videos that are no longer up here for one reason only, and that's that I was instructed to take it down. We're not going to get into that in today's video. We're going to talk a little bit more about like practical things, definitely the coins when it comes down to owning the suite. So if that's something that interests you, without further ado, let's get started with today's video. Okay, so first I want to talk about suites. Now I have had 3 different suites in the last 6 years. So just from hearing that, you could hear that I have had quite a few experiences. I will say that the first suite that I had outside of the school was financially one of the best situations that you could put yourself in as a massage therapist, and we are going to talk about quite a few things here today. This first suite, I think the lady charged me $300 a month, and her whole, like, it was like a little salon. Her whole salon cost her $700 a month, and she charged me $300 for the room. So financially, this was the best situation, like I said, to be in straight out of school. I did have the clients to sustain me at this location. However, the location was not the best for this business. And what do I mean? When you're doing massage and you're looking to get paid at a certain price point, you have to be in the vicinity of the people who will pay that price point. The same thing goes, like, let's say you are looking to work at a spa, like looking to work at a franchise. It does matter where the franchise that you want to work is located. The same is true for your salon. So with that being said, you can hear right there, can you afford to go into a nicer place? Can you afford suite rent at a nicer place to get the type of clientele that's actually going to pay for what your services are worth? Okay. And I will be completely honest with you in saying, when I first started out, prices were way too low. I'll put some prices on the screen because I'm gonna have to go and find them up. I don't want to tell no lies here, but the prices were way too low. But like I said, we're going to talk about a few things here in a moment. The next place that I worked, it was a decent price, but again, it's still, and it was a good location. It was a much better location. It was a decent price, but it was still a bit costly. And we're going to work with those figures, okay? So let's paint the picture right now. $180 a week. It's really like, I don't want to say it's low end. You're probably looking at around $200 for like base, and when I say base, just a place that's kind of good enough for you to get the clientele that's going to want to pay for your massages. But we're going to go $180 because I do know of a few places with that price point, and I live in Houston. So at $180 weekly, because most of the time they want you to pay for the suites weekly, you would need to pay $720 a month. And to break that down, let's say your 60-minute massage costs $80. And if you're looking at me and you're frying up your face and you say, they're going to pay more for my massage than that, I want to tell you something, that they might not. And I'm not making this video to steer you away from going into your suite. I would never do that. I do want you to make like a sound decision based off of facts, not based off of you chasing a dream in this market. Okay? Because I will tell you right now that back then things were a lot more booming than they are now. So again, $80 for a 60-minute massage. With that being said, you would need to do at least 3 massages a week to break even with a little bit over $240. And you say $240, okay, that's good. That's more than I'm making right now, right? 3 clients, $240. I'll make way more. I'll have way more than 3 clients a week. I want you to ask yourself the question right now. Do you have 3 clients a week? And more than 3 clients a week, do you have 9 clients? Because remember, we said that's just the week's rent. We said overall you needed $720. So ask yourself that question right now. Do I have 9 clients? Do I have consistent 9 clients? To even get myself like in the mind frame of I even need a suite. Do I have that? If the answer is yes, well then proceed. If the answer is no, we need to go back to the drawing board and see if this is the appropriate time at the stage that you're in right now to open the suite. Okay? because that's just including rent. That's not including, like, let's say you have other bills to pay. Let's say you have car note, mortgages, rent payments, car insurance. You got all these other bills to pay. That's only that three a week is only the bare minimum just to cover the suite rent. Because remember, I said it's $240. That was $240 with 3 massages at $80, but you only needed $180. So like suite rent, something to eat, and a little gas. It's not very much extra money. So you can hear what I'm saying. You need actually way more than that. If you had a client book of, let's say, 10 people a week, I would say that that's more doable. And let's do the calculations on that. 10 people a week. I have my calculator out here, so this might be broken up a bit, or I might just keep it real time. A week, and then we said we were going to do 80. Well, duh. That's $800 a week. And that sounds like excellent money. But I want you to actually ask yourself, do you have that? Do you have 10 people to see a week? And if you don't, just hold off a bit, okay? You will get it. I'm not saying that you won't get it. Of course, you will get it. It will happen. But if you cannot afford to pay these bills until it happens, I would reassess. Because like I said, there are other costs that go into it that's more than just paying the suite rent. So let's talk a little bit about those. I'm going to put an exact number of a startup cost. And the reason why I can do this, because like I told you, I have done this 3 times. So I'm going to put the exact startup cost for you. And then I'm going to put for you some single prices. I will put some products for you on the screen just to help you out, just to kind of point you in the right direction. But people usually like to do their own things. These are just the things that I use, and they worked. Like I told you, I had a full book of clients, of about 50 clients right out of school with my first suite. But the price point for me wasn't a price point that I was willing to work long term for. The first thing is lotion and oil. I like to use my lotion and oil by this what is it called? Soothing. I'll put it for you on the screen. These are the ones that I like. They have went up on the price over time. Like over the years, they've definitely went up on the price. You need a massage table. If you are doing like stationary massage only, like you're not doing mobile, you could go a little bit cheaper on the table. Some of the cheaper tables, they do way more. So that's up to you. I really like the aluminum table that I have. Even though I had a wooden table at the beginning, the aluminum table I found doesn't squeak nearly as much as my old table did. Sheets. Here's the brand of sheets that I absolutely like. I would say love. They're the sheets that I like the most, and I have used a lot of other sheets. Decor. You can say, you know what, I'm just going to buy the minimum. I don't need decor, but you actually need decor, because remember what I told you. If you want people to pay a certain price point, you're going to have to create a certain environment, and to create that certain environment, it absolutely does cost money. A hot towel warmer, I believe, is on the necessity list right up there with a massage table, so that you can have hot towels, and ding, 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 that's another price. You need to buy some towels so that you can have hot towels. Hot stones is something else that you're going to have to pay for. You don't necessarily have to pay for like a separate stone warmer. You absolutely can heat the stones inside of the hot towel warmer. If they did not teach you that in school, that is something that you can do. And I like to have essential oils, not because I think that essential oils are essential or they carry any special properties, really just because they're just a good, like, I like to call them aromatherapy more or less, because they're just a good, like, scent element to the massage, I feel. And if you can add some of the amenities that some of the franchises and stuff like that have, it makes you, it puts you in the running, right, to be a place that people would actually like to go. Because I have found that people really want, like, they want it to be relaxing. They want it to be very spa-like. And for it to be very spa-like, it does cost you a little bit, but I promise you, you can do it. If I have pictures of all 3 of the salon suites that I have, I'll go ahead and put it up here for you. And I'll be honest, the one that I like the most costs the least. I put the least amount of money into it, and it cost me, I put the least amount of money into it, and I liked it the best. So let's move on to the next thing. Again, I said, I'm not telling you to ask yourself these questions to discourage you at all. I just kind of want you to move in wisdom, because I remember like going in the suite and being like, man, you think you're making all this money, and then when you actually at the end of the year, you crack it all down, you see how much money you spent, and then you go, perhaps you work at like a franchise or something like that. And I'm going to talk to you about that a little later. I'm waiting for the video. Perhaps you go into a franchise and you see how much money you make there, and you're like, when I take all the expenses, when I take all the money I put into this each month to start off each month, and then I see how much money I'm making, I should have just found a spot that I really liked. And I don't want you to make those kind of poor financial decisions, like I said, especially in the climate that is now. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I'm going to add this in here as well, that I noticed something, and that was back in the day. And like I said, it's like 6 years ago at this point, people were like, business was a lot more booming than it is now. And I mean, across the board, I mean, in the franchises and personal clientele was booming a lot more. The rise of this lymphatic and medical massage, this was not that high 6 years ago. Now, if you do lymphatic massage, if you do medical massage, you get a lot more clients. But I want you to think to yourself, I know what you're saying. Well, girl, I'm just gonna get my certification and do lymphatic. I know what you're thinking, but I want to remind you of something. And I mentioned this in the previous videos. And if you're watching the other of my other videos, you know exactly where I'm going here. I want you to remind you of the fact that you're actually championing on something that God really frowns upon. People, and I'm not talking about medical massage in like oncology, you know, people are getting surgeries and stuff like that they really need. I'm talking about these BBL, these plastic surgery these plastic surgery groups, these plastic surgery people, like just acting like they're life-size Barbie dolls, and then they're finding these massage therapists who are providing these surgery. You're actually stealing people money. You're actually stealing from someone who is in the worst space in their life right now. They don't know who they are, and they're trying to create a them. And you just swooping in and you're being an opportunist. And let me tell you, there's a punishment for that. I must say it. As I'm sitting here talking to you about the finances and all those other things. I must tell you that there is a punishment for taking advantage of people in this way. So don't be one of those people like, you know what? Well, I'm going to go where the money is, because there's a lot more than money over there. Okay, I just want to let you know, just in case you were misunderstanding there. There's a lot more than money over there. So there is that group of people, they're making a lot more money now than they were, 6 years ago, and definitely 10, 15 years ago. I see a lot of therapists, they'll come into like franchise, like they'll work, in spas and things like that, because they realize what I'm telling you right now, way before now. And they already got their full book of clients. They got their people coming back, year after year. They're in the swing of it. So I just don't want you to ever turn your nose up at anything. I had this, and it was primarily because of the school that I went to. Just a lot of false information and a lot of manipulating people and trying to get people to do what you want them to do, that you don't actually care about them understanding, what it is that they need to do. And I just want you to pay attention to that. That's all. When you're working by yourself, you don't have insurance. Do you need insurance? You need health insurance. Okay, you need health insurance. You need insurance. You don't have benefits a lot of times when you're working by yourself. If you're not a single person and you're married, perhaps your spouse has insurance, and that's okay. But I just want you to consider all things, okay? So I'm sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent there. I'm not really sorry, but you know what I mean. I apologize. I went off on a tangent there, but we definitely have to mention that. So I'm not trying to discourage you all. I just really want you to take it for what it is. Anyway, that's where I was going. I was telling you that back then, even in the suites, it was hard to get a suite. Like, you were waiting for a suite. You was waiting for an opening, because everybody's like, their suite life was popping. I'm telling you right now that the last suite that I had, I witnessed something. There was a nail tech in there, and the nail tech was the only person that was always in there and always busy. The hairdressers weren't that busy. It was like 1 or 2 days out of the week that the hairdressers were there, and they were very busy. Everybody else, but guess what? They still have a suite there. What does that tell you? That tells me that they're still paying rent. And you just have to ask yourself, does this really make sense? Financially, does this make sense? Or am I upholding this whole thing because of like my pride, my ego? I want to say, I'm a suite owner. Or are you actually making money? Or are you actually making a difference? I'm just asking questions that need answers for you. You don't have to tell it to nobody. I'm just asking you. Because like I said, back in the day, the second suite that I had, So the first suite that I had, the lady herself wasn't as busy as I was. The second suite that I had, again, everybody on the hall, I think there was an esthetician there who really wasn't that busy. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the estheticians that I am so grateful for the grace and the mercy of God that I did not continue on that road, because they just don't make a lot of money. They don't make a lot of money without selling people, lies. Honestly, they just don't make a lot of money. They're most of the time they're sitting around. But there was a girl who was next door who was doing like, she did like teeth bling, teeth jewels, and she had a lot of clients like all at one point in time. But I looked at the prices of that stuff, and she was charging these people what you call out the wazoo, and they were spending it. So she didn't need to be there that much because people weren't really bothered with it. Another girl I saw, she was doing eyelashes, and she tended to be busier as well. But and the hairdressers on the other side of the building, honey. And it was I'm sorry if you're not black, but the black hairdressers, business was booming. And when you think about it, ladies always gonna get their nails done. They always gonna get their hair done. Massage is one of those things. Facials are one of those things. It's like on the luxury list. And I'll be honest with you and say, I know it's not a facial video, but we're talking about suites here. And if you are an esthetician, I'm gonna say this. Estheticians are very low on that list of like this luxury list. I believe, a massage and stretching and things like that is further up, and we're even under. Massage therapists are even under nails. I think nails is literally at the top because people buy a little wig for their hair and they won't be too worried about it. But they're at the top, and then the further you go down, I'm gonna be honest with you and tell you the estheticians is really far down that list. Okay, even in franchises, like the place that I work at now is a really great location, and I see that their estheticians are a lot busier than anything I've ever seen. But it's because of the location, and where the location is, there's a certain culture around, I ain't gonna say too much. You know what I mean, okay? It's like trying to sell Botox in the hood. It's not gonna work. Okay. So where will you get the clients? Question you need to ask yourself. Where you gonna get them? Can you think about that right now? And don't depend on advertising. I've told you before, like when I first started, I did Instagram advertising, and I can't say that it's definitely not what it used to be. It's just not. The crowds of people are different, and I noticed that even back then, Instagram has just a certain, je ne sais quoi is not the word, but you know what I mean. The clients who are going to pay for, $200 and $300 service, like my mobile massage clients, I didn't find them on Instagram. As a matter of fact, they found me. So just having things set up professionally, but I will tell you that advertising is still not what it used to be. And I'm talking from a person, like I used to pay for advertising. I wouldn't even waste my money paying for advertising because everyone's in the mindset of like, oh, somebody's just trying to sell me something. And they're right, because most people are just trying to make a buck and just sell you stuff. And even though you might not be a part of the people who are doing those things like that, people still have this mindset. So much so, I know it's sad to say, but people rather go to bigger name places for this reason than to go to small businesses. And small businesses are suffering for it. They're suffering because of it. But I'm going to tell you right now, even the franchises, business is not what it used to be. So take that into consideration. Again, not trying to discourage you. Just ask yourself, where you get the clients from? And are they reliable? And I don't mean that's because they're your like, mama, sister, cousin kind of thing like that. Girl, I can't count none. Okay, I can't count, maybe count one. Yeah, one massage. Was it free? No, paid. No, I can't count none. So reliable. Do you have a reliable client base? Or do you have bills? If you have bills, can you afford to go, blindly off into a venture like this, not knowing if the money gonna make sense? Because guess what? Once you pay for the suite rent, you can't get your money back. Yeah, you can sell your massage table. You could sell your supplies and stuff like that, but you won't get back the money that you spent on it. So do you have bills? And do you have kids? You need insurance. You got kids, you got bills. Don't play. Can you afford to not have clients? Can you afford, a grace period, so to speak? And I'm telling you, if you still want to do this, if after hearing this video, you still want to go for and do it, that was me. Go and do it. But try to work somewhere and do it at the same time. Like try to work at a suite or try to work at a spa and do it at the same time. This is what I did, why I build my clientele. And I want to tell you, there's a crazy thing that happens, and I call it I'm not gonna tell you what I call it because it's a little provocative, but I'm gonna leave that alone. So let's say you're working by yourself and you get paid $120 for the service. Let's say you did, 90-minute massage and the person added some hot stones, and let's say you got paid $120. That same service that you by yourself, you got paid $120. Let's say you only get paid $60 with the tip if you're working in franchise, and it kind of starts to mess with you. You start to think to yourself, and I'm just being honest with you, because this is how it was. I'm not making anything up here. You start to say, I could make more money if I did this by myself. And then you all of a sudden forget all the other stuff that we talked about. You actually tried to do it, and then you didn't make the money. You didn't make the money because the people weren't coming. They weren't coming enough to like sustain you paying your bills. So you don't live in a fairy tale. I remember watching, I know, unrelated, but oh well. I remember watching a video where a lady literally moved with her and her 4 kids to become like YouTube famous or something like that, and they end up in a homeless shelter. So you're not thinking things all the way through. You're trying to, you're just not thinking all things all the way through. I want you to make a sound decision about it. So really think about that. If you want to do both of them, do both of them. But keep that in your mind. You know what? I understand what I'm trying to do here. And until I actually reach the goal that I am trying to reach, I'm not just going to run out of here because I'm getting paid more money. Because at the end of the day, after you're done paying your suite rent, you do the numbers and see if it makes sense to you. Because guess what? When you're working in a spa, you're working for franchise, and it doesn't have to be franchise. You can work in a spa without franchise, but it's really the same thing. They really kind of pay you the same. After you're done working, you get to go home. You get to go home. You don't have to pack up no table. You ain't got to worry about the rent being paid. No, that's none of your business. And you're going to have to find a good partnership. I have come across some partnerships where it was more like, yeah, we getting paid like a split, like a 60-40 split. Me get paid 60, they get paid 40. But I'm doing all the work as far as like the acquisition of all the clients and, bringing in all the supplies. To me, deals like that are not worth it. Because you're going to have to up my ante. Like if I have to do all the work to get the clients, then I might as well do it by myself. But if you're working in a place when they already have a client base, like a franchise or just a bigger spa or gym or something like that, just want you to consider, okay? This is, like I said, this is not for old massage therapists. Even though I know some of you guys might watch it, this is for the newbies. I want you to consider it. Don't get so, I could do this by myself. I can't wait, I can't wait till I can own my own suite because they ain't paying me enough money. Don't go into it with that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that, and you need to, adopt, the spirit of gratitude and say, you know what, Lord, I'm grateful to even be able to have the movement in my body, the activity of my limbs, to even be able to make some money. Okay, you need to go into that. And I'm telling you, after I owned 3 suites, then going and working for someone else, I had to adjust my mind. And guess what? I did. And I'm grateful that I did. So I hope this answered a few questions for you. As always, if you have a question, ask one, and I'll see you in the next video.